Hello guys, welcome back to Sherlock Holmes The Awakening. So we're going to carry on with this story. We've just done the bookshop, a Barnes bookshop, when Holmes thought it was an assassination attempt, when all it was just a misunderstanding on this case. Before we go in here, I want to see what's going on over here. What's this geezer doing here? Look. Dear. That's a tobacco shop. Just want to have a little look around. There's a vet's. Oh, let's go see the Gigi. Hello, baby. Beautiful. What a lovely looking game, isn't it? Absolutely stunning. Right, I think this is going to be Stenwick's mansion. Apparently his servant's gone missing, which, to be honest, the princess's bodyguard's also gone missing. So something is wrong, isn't it? So let's go and have a look.
Is this lousy attitude of yours because of my altercation with Inspector Robert? Did he get you up to this?
Sir, the inspector has nothing to do with it. I'm telling you the same thing I tell anyone seeking a missing person.
Good day, gentlemen. Forgive the intrusion. Captain Stenwick, this is my colleague Sherlock Holmes, the consulting detective I told you about.
At last, a professional. This useless officer refuses to do anything about Kimmy here, my missing servant. What was your name again? I shall be certain to inform your superiors.
Sergeant Ruffles.
Kimmy here? That sounds like maybe somewhere like, I don't know, definitely maybe in Australia, New Zealandy. Let's have a look. What questions can we ask?
Have there been other disappearances lately?
Of course, here and there. When life is tough and opportunity comes knocking, you can't blame those who answer.
Why has the police department decided not to help?
We investigate murders, thefts, fraud, arson, real crimes. A servant walking away from his master is not our highest priority. That said, if we find Kimahia breaking the law, we'll be sure to notify Captain Stenwick. Now, I must be off. Best of luck in your search.
You heard that, didn't you? The way that man spoke to me. I shall need your written testimony, then we can lodge a complaint.
Captain, perhaps Mr. Holmes' time is better spent learning about your servant, so that he may begin his investigation.
Ah, yes. Quite right. Fire away.
Can you describe him?
Tell me about Kimahir.
He's foreign. A Maori. All the way from New Zealand. Biggest
Toad-
man you've ever seen. And as strong as two. Dark hair and fearsome tattoos. He doesn't speak a whit of English. Never bothered to learn. But I made do with pointing. I invested a lot of money in him, so he must be found.
Okay,
When did you last see your servant?
Kimmy here normally brings me the morning papers, but yesterday I had to get them myself. He must have escaped the night before yesterday.
May I see your servant's bedroom?
His shack is in the garden. You can't miss it.
Did you search the room?
Of course, but only to check he wasn't lying dead inside. Everything seemed normal at a glance.
Is there any reason Kimahir may have left?
I should think not. He had all he could have wanted. Gainful employment, new clothes, and all the cabbage he could eat.
Did Kimahir make off with anything of value?
Heavens, no. I would have mentioned it to Sergeant Ruffles.
Still, he must have fled with some money on his person.
No, no. I kept his wages in my safe. For security.
I take it this is the first time Kimahir has vanished?
Undoubtedly. The man seemed terrified of the city. I think it was all the noise. He never left this estate. Should he cause any damage, I will bear the responsibility, for it was I who rescued him from savagery and brought him here to England in the first place.
All right, Captain. I think I have enough to get started. We shall first take a look around the mansion.
Go ahead. I'll be here, mentally drafting my complaint.
Investigation scene found. Right, so let's have a little look around. Anything here? No, nothing of interest there.
Stenwick makes his servant live in a tool shed. You think you know someone?
Well, different times then, Watson. A headless statue. Okay, this wants me to investigate around here.
Chewing tobacco. A shoe print, roughly size 11, with a worn-out sole. These are a workman's boots. Looks like a knee print. Someone knelt here. The amount of chewing tobacco suggests they were waiting a while.
Amazing, Mr. Holmes. To read the ground like an open book.
Okay. With enough clues, Sherlock can use his imagination to reconstruct the past. Press R1 to imagination notes. Okay. So it's circle. Okay. Okay, so someone with Neil in there. Anything else here? Okay. That's all we can do here, so let's walk on.
This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right.
Concentrate helps you pick up smaller details in the world. When you wavy green circle, press R1 to observe closely. Parallel track wheels.
These tracks, they seem fresh. The rag reeks of smoke. Someone plugged the chimney.
Do you think Kimmy here had an accomplice in his escape?
Okay, so we've got something to pin.
Someone moved a cart to this spot and then took it elsewhere. Can't see it anywhere in the garden.
Okay, someone had a cart that was there. Just unpin that now for the moment. Just so I can see around a bit more.
Impressive. The sack of grain retained the shape of an impact. Someone hit their head here. A small navy spyglass.
Okay.
These were sturdy boxes. It would have required a serious blow to break them.
So I reckon someone's fallen over and landed face first in that pot.
A scrap of hessian.
Oh, that's cloves, I think, hessium.
A Maori nose flute. Ngurus, they're called. Clothes made of hessian. Is Stenwick really so miserly? Is this a taniwha, a Maori water spirit, or something else? Either way, it's giving me chills.
We're getting loads of bits of evidence.
Button chops, the remains of a meal. The ashes are long since cold. A heavy chemical odor. Lend me your nose, Doctor.
I'll never forget that smell after my time in Afghanistan. That's an opioid, Mr. Holmes, a narcotic.
Right, okay. Am I missing anything in here? Let's have a look around. Yeah, I don't think he was carrying that. I'm missing some evidence, I'm sure I am. Right, I think what I need to do is start to pin some things on there. Like the key there. There we go, see? So there's a key missing. Um, okay. So there's nothing to find from that clue. Footprints in... Spyglass. Can we pin that? Maybe we need to go back and talk to the our main guy here. Maybe he can answer some questions for us.
The door to your garden has an interesting lock.
Yes, I have uncommon locks on every door of my mansion. It makes them harder to pick. Kimmy here and I both had a set of keys.
I'll need to borrow them.
No, you'll need to do what I tell you to do. Examine the garden.
Okay.
Is this spyglass familiar?
I don't recognize it.
Could it be Kimahir's, perhaps?
I doubt it. I never saw him with it, nor could I suggest how he might have come by it.
Okay.
I thought you were meant to be intelligent. Are you joking? Why would I know this? I thought you were meant to be intelligent.
Do you happen to know Kimahir's shoe size?
I wouldn't have the foggiest. But I'm sure it was enormous. Not that it matters. He spent his life barefoot. Despite my best efforts, he simply did not take to shoes.
Has Kimahir ever indulged in tobacco?
No, the man doesn't even drink.
Are you certain? I found chewing tobacco in the garden.
I controlled Kimihir's expenses since he struggled with the currency. I would have known if he used tobacco.
Okay.
I came across a pile of Hessian clothes in the shack. Are they Kimahir's?
Yes, I had to give him something to clothe himself. He seemed unfazed by his bare skin, but I found it distracting.
Okay, so we've got some new evidence now. So let's go back. Ah, so these have now got different things, look. So there's someone else there with the spyglass. Okay. So let's go back in over here. So it's that one. Okay. Alright, so we got to, I think, arrange these in some sort of order. So we go back to this one there. Is that the guy with the spyglass? No, so we need to change this one. To that one. Okay. See what we got to do now. So let's go in there. I think it's that one. Yeah, I think it's that one. He's been dragging him out. He's dragged him out. Right, okay, so he's smelt the stuff and he's sort of like fainted. He's dragged him out, fallen over onto there. And he's gone this way. Validate. I'm missing one, aren't I? Why does that keep doing that? So, I'm going to validate. This one keeps going wrong, so this one must be wrong.
Surveilling from afar, the intruder waited for a window of opportunity. When Kimahir went to sleep, the man crept up to the shack and slipped narcotics down the chimney pipe, then blocked it with a cloth. Kimahir inhaled the sedative and fell into a deep sleep. The intruder tried to move him, but the man was heavier than expected. The intruder fell on the sack and dropped his spyglass. In order to transport the servant, he had to use the cart. The final challenge was opening the garden door. Luckily for our intruder, Kimahir had the key in his shack.
Remarkable. It makes total sense.
Right. So we've got 2 of these to do. No. We need to move over to here. What are noticeable features? Spyglass. Chewing tobacco. The footprints. Okay, so one missing, is it? Documents. So that's right. So it's item. Observations. Or is it a blue one I'm missing? This one. Okay. Okay, so clues. So documentation, I think. So there's no documentation, is it? Okay. What am I missing? Items, observations. So what have I got to unpin that? Right. None of these are working. Let me come off that again. It's really bizarre because none of these are working. So am I missing a piece of information? Let me have a look at this one. Trail lead. None of those are right. No. Unlock. It might be the key. Right. The strand. So no items. Maybe I can't do them yet. Maybe I've got to go back to that. Let's go back to speak to the main guy.
You'd best have found something by now, gentlemen.
I fear that someone may have spied upon Kimahir. Likely the owner of the spyglass I found earlier. It appears they were watching for some time, as there was an impressive amount of chewing tobacco on the ground.
And your point?
I found the residue of narcotics in Kimahir's brazier. There are several explanations, perhaps your servant's recreational interest, or an attempt at poisoning.
Cut to the chase, Mr. Holmes.
You said that you checked the shack earlier. Did you notice the cart tracks near it? Now, one ought to expect a servant to make regular use of such a thing. Indeed, I would have overlooked the detail were it not for the cart's absence. If, as you say, Kimahir never leaves your estate, then where did it go?
I expect answers from you, Mr. Holmes, not questions.
I won't keep you in suspense any longer, Captain. Kimahir was abducted by the owner of the spyglass. When your servant fell asleep, he slipped a narcotic into Kimahir's brazier to make him sleep even more soundly. In order to carry a man as large as Kimahir, the intruder stole the cart and rolled him right out of your garden.
Now, hold on. All this simply to tell me what I already know. Why haven't you found him yet?
I only arrived a moment ago. It is, frankly, incredible that I have already deduced so much.
Every second you dawdle here, waiting for me to stroke your ego, is another second wasted. I'm not interested in the how, the why, or the who. I am only interested in recovering my investment. Spare me the claptrap, boy, and go and fetch my servant.
Do it yourself.
You are so addled by delusions of competency that you miss the blindingly obvious. Without the assistance of others, you are utterly incapable. Kimahir endured your nonsense far longer than I will.
The point is, Captain, we're telling you this for a reason. The intruder fled through the garden door, and we need a key to follow his trail.
Well, then you should have led with that. Here you go. I hope you'll return soon with good news. And in the meantime, please teach your companion the art of brevity.
Okay, so now we've got a key. Right, let's go to the open that gate. Yeah, I don't think we can do those things yet. I don't think we got all the evidence yet. Oh wow, that looks really cool. Penny farthing, and look, the river, Big Ben over there. Alright, so let's have a little look. See if we can see any evidence here.
Stenwick makes his servant live in a tool shed. You think you know someone.
Right, so we got to pin something. No, I don't want to pin that. It's the trail, isn't it? There we go. Here we go. Right, what's this?
Roy Salisbury.
Salisbury.
That be the name of our man. Sturdy rope, professionally tied in a Portuguese bowline. This knot is often used by sailors to create a bosun's chair. Wheels picked up grass along the way. Kimahia's cart, I gather. Sturdy rope, professionally tied in a Portuguese bowline. This knot is often used by sailors to create a bosun's chair. A strange substance. I have my suspicions based on the color and consistency, but would you care to hazard a guess, Doctor?
Well, it's odorless, but from the way it absorbs water, I'd say saltpeter.
Then we're in agreement. Well done.
Right, can we do any of these now? So we've got two. There we go. He was kidnapped by a sailor. Particular knot, spyglass, footwork in man's boot. They add up to conclusion abducted by a sailor. Calling card? No. Sailor's knot? Oh, wallet of that. Unpin that. That's definitely connected. Okay, so that's right. Got two right. All evidence, Port of London. We now know that Kashmir's kidnapper was a sailor, and that his wallet bears the residue from that explosion, the Port of London. Everything suggests that Kashmir must be at the Port of London. There's no time to lose.
The Strand proved not so useless after all. The saltpeter accident. Doctor, do you recall?
The Port of London, of course. The footwear, the spyglass.
Indeed. We shall need to take a cab there.
Let's go and talk to the guy first and let him know that we know that he was a sailor.
Why are you still here?
Oh, he doesn't want to talk to us. Right, so we can unpin that. Which is the one I got pinned? Let's have a look. That one. Okay, so we can find a cab and off to the Port of London. This looks like a cab here. With a beautiful horse. You cannot return after leaving. Be sure you finished everything you want to do here.
Where to, Gav? The Port of London, please. I will show you where to stop.
So there we go, guys. We are now the Blood Red Knight, Chapter 2. And we're going to do that in the next video. So thanks for watching this one. And we'll continue our story in the next one, I think.
Mr. Holmes, what a compelling mystery we have stumbled upon. Perhaps I have the premise of my next novel.
On kidnapping does not a story make?
Stop! A black cat crossed before us. It's a bad omen.
Do not take you for the superstitious type, Doctor. Such things are mere fantasies, tricks of a feeble mind. One imagines a physician would keep a surer footing in reality.
Perhaps, before the war, my time abroad was difficult. Once, I came across an Afghan, bleeding, who I could not save. He pressed a rosary into my hand. A gift, he said, so as to gain God's favor after that.
Dr. Watson?
Yes, well, I shan't get into details, but sometime later I found myself lost in the desert. Dehydration set in, and things grew ever more dire. The man's words came to me. I said a prayer, placed the rosary on a rock. A gift to gain God's favor.
And you were rescued.
Yes. A detachment of British soldiers found me.
To whom I'm grateful. Without their diligence, you would not be standing here and I would not have this case.
I'm sure you have another explanation prepared, Mr. Holmes, but I think I shall cling to the occasional superstition all the same.
To each his own, Dr. Watson. So long as it does not interfere with my methods, do it. We must press on, cat or no cat. The question remains, why abduct Kimahir?
And we're going to find out in the next episode. The Cursed Mermaid. Anyway, guys, thanks for coming in again. And we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.